Hello, and welcome back to the Force Commander's Guide to Purging Nurgle. I'm Jadestar, and today, before we get to plot and missions, I wanted to take a look at something that I made mention of last video, and in the thread. Besides all of the skill trees that you can pick all around the board, every Space Marine starts with a personal skill, buried under the center icon. In this case, it's Lightning Reflexes, giving Thule 10% focus. Now, we haven't really talked about focus, but focus makes passive effects more likely to happen, inflicting status effects or your automatic on percentile chance things, like rapid reload or the AP on crit. It's great. Iolanthus has a 5% crit chance to melee, which is alright, but it's good for a Justicar. It's not great. Storm has Devoted Practitioner, which is the best passive trait. He's going to level up a quarter slower, but he will gain 3 extra ability points over the course of leveling. You can do so much with 3 extra skill points. There's almost no other way to get skill points, so that's the best. Cult Bane is, damage against, well, crit chance against organic enemies is very specific, but it's an apothecary. There's not really a great trait for an apothecary. Eagle Eye for an apothecary is not bad. They mostly use their bolters, so a crit chance on their bolter, not bad. Oh, and here I've remembered that Rugen is a Purgator, and, yeah, needs a gun. I accidentally equipped a silencer by mistake. First, they are pretty decent guns. They have more range, they have more ammo, they have a different special attack. But I just prefer the side cannons for the damage value and the ability to explode half cover, which is great. Rugen is Deathless, which is honestly not great. So they never will lose resilience, but that is a pretty rare occurrence to begin with. It's not something I'm ever worried about, and if I'm not making use of that, then the -2 willpower that comes with Deathless is just a negative. Boars has Great Destiny, also one of my favorites, especially for Justicars or Interceptors. More HP, 1 more willpower, and 1 more melee attack damage is great. Technically, there's a downside that they don't gain resilience as they level up, but again, I'm not worried about resilience. That's not really something that comes into play for me. You have to be, like, dying or taking critical injuries for that to matter. Alright, with our troops inspected, I'm just kind of taking a guess where the next blue mission is going to spawn. We can't reach the other 2 in time, so they're going to time out, and we're going to have a little bit of time to research and finish upgrades on the Edict. Except this is going to happen.
Alert. Proximate warp currents are unstable. Recommend immediate aggressive acceleration or the Edict's coordinates may be disrupted.
Risk analysis?
Insufficient cogitation time to perform reductive calculations. Impact imminent.
Let me ward the ship, Commander. I just read an ancient tome on the topic of warp turbulence.
A heretical text, no doubt. Tampering with the warp on such a scale is foolhardy. The Edict is a sturdy ship. We should ride it out.
So we get to choose, and it does kind of advise us what our choices do. Warp drive may be at risk, so it might damage our engines and so forth.
We should not put our faith in such unsanctioned witchcraft.
Silence, Purifier. I will begin at once, Commander.
All of the options carry some risk that it doesn't necessarily tell you about. It might hint at, like, the ship might be at risk with other things. So Vakir is wounded for 20 days, which means our stratagems are locked out. I think it also means she stops researching. The other thing is that it blew out our Agrarium, whatever. The Prognosticar facility is offline. And if we had deployed our Prognosticars, that would be a bigger deal, because those help us with benefits on the strategic layer. Right now, it doesn't really matter, so we're just going to continue. So I am kind of wagering that the next bloom is going to be up here in the top left edge of the map, and we'll see how well that turns out. So a bonus for our Prognosticars, of which I have deployed none.
You have my attention, Knight. Yes, you've taken enough of my time.
But we can now, with our 1 seed, research this seed and begin plot. Oh, she does keep researching even while wounded. Okay, it just disables the stratagems. Alright, where are these new missions? Look at that, one's right next to us. It's early game, you can kind of predict where the bloom is going to be. Bloom doesn't just spawn randomly. It has entry points on the edges of the map, and then will only ever spawn either there or adjacent to a star system that already has some bloom. So you can kind of predict it. Now, unfortunately, they're all pretty well spread out, so I don't think I'm going to get to 2 of them. So I am checking the rewards. And I was really thinking, can I get to this top one and then make it all the way down to the bottom one?
The fight against the vile heretics takes an interesting turn. Grandmaster Kai may have grown obstinate sitting on Titan, but there are others who recognize the need for action. The Officio Assassinorum has agreed to make available an execution force tasked with exterminating this bloom.
The edicts of our chapter demand we work alone, Inquisitor. We are fully capable of handling the threat.
Did you not make the case days ago that this strike force is depleted? Are we not allies in this crusade against chaos?
I suppose chapter doctrine permits the use of outside forces under certain exigent circumstances.
Indeed. We all have a duty to elevate need above custom. Now, Commander, which temple would best serve your most immediate needs on the battlefield?
So we get our choice, a freebie, a taste of the Officio Assassinorum or whatever. We get to choose one of the 4 at the start.
Excellent. My savant has many records detailing the efficacy of those from the Vindicare Temple. They are the finest marksmen, and patient beyond reproach. Commander, understand that while the Officio Assassinorum trains the finest operatives in the Imperium, they lack your battle brothers' resilience. While you can requisition more assassins, the cost will be high. Each operative has undergone countless genetic and cybernetic enhancements to transform them into the ultimate killers.
And the prognosticar finishes even though the ship is damaged. So the assassins, they all have very unique and very different playstyles, ability skill sets. I've chosen the Vindicare. I think they are the strongest. Eversors are also very strong. Calexis is also a pretty strong one. Though it requires probably more attention to the ebb and flow of her willpower than I usually put in. Like, I like things that are passive because it's just less stuff I have to keep in my mind. You could absolutely make the Calexis very, very, very strong. It's just that I just kind of don't. And then I already... what's the other one? Calidus? I actually have very little experience with the Calidus, so I'm probably going to pick it second just because it will be slightly new to me. Alright, we are approaching the mission site, and I've warmed up the coolers, so we're joined as always by my favorite friend Olish, who was recently awarded the Baleful Edict's championship crown in Dance Dance Revolution.
God damn it.
Which is very impressive considering he doesn't have feet or legs.
Just makes it easier. Okay. Looking through the chaos detected, and we talked about it in previous missions.
Yeah. This information can actually be worthwhile when you have a prognosticar in this system or adjacent to the system.
I mean, it tells you there's 2 different types of units on the planet.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure how informative that is, because it's not all-encompassing, kind of like a hyperwave would have been. I think it just kind of lets you know what are a couple of the biggest threats, or what the game considers like the toughest units.
Yeah. Oh, so this here is one of the glorious deeds.
Yes.
That you're going to do early on in the game, and then you're never going to touch ever again.
Yes, exactly.
Not using mastercrafted equipment sucks.
Really does. Right now, our mastercraft equipment, we actually don't have any. The things that we do have are like pre-ordered bonuses that just offer like 5% crit chance. It's not really worth anything.
It's better than nothing.
Yeah.
Vindicares are good. With the Officio Assassinorum units, there is no build to be had. You don't make any choices. They just level up and get abilities, which I can understand. It's a lot simpler to design.
Yeah.
There are 4 types of assassin units, and the Vindicare is probably the most generically useful one.
Generically, okay.
There are other ones that might be more useful in certain circumstances, but you will never not want a Vindicare. They are nice to have.
Yeah, okay. I see what you mean. Yeah.
It's like like your Jumpy Boys.
The Interceptor.
Yeah, the Interceptors, they're generically useful. You'll never feel bad for bringing them.
This cathedral was home to the heretic Nulinius, though his cult was marked for purging over 300 years ago.
Time, or perhaps something else, seems to have done the deed for you, Knight.
No matter what foul ground our enemy chooses to sow his seeds, we will cleanse it.
Can't believe that it took so long for this cult to get purged. That's some bureaucracy right there. 300 years ago?
I mean, there's 1,000 Grey Knights, and some like hundreds of trillions of different planets.
Right. I mean, okay.
Or at least trillions of different people.
But did the purging need to specifically be the Grey Knights?
Yes.
Because if it's... Oh. Really?
They're the ones... Well, okay, maybe not specifically the Grey Knights. But if the Grey Knights are talking about this was specified as being purged, yeah, it was on their list.
Oh, okay.
At once.
Because having just learned from some of the lore posts, like, wouldn't that have been, like, the Sisters of Battle territory?
I mean, they're certainly the kind of people who would be tasked with purging a cathedral. But if Ector is saying, like, this was, queued to be done 300 years ago, yeah, the Grey Knights just didn't get around to it.
Okay.
Okay, 3 pods. 2 seed carriers.
Yes.
On the hunt.
I can safely recall, say, 3 seed carriers per mission. Maybe 4? I think 4. I think you can get 4 if it gets really bloomy down there.
Alright, so you got a Chaos Marine, you have your regular cultists.
Yep.
I'd be surprised if you saw different types of enemies than this.
Yeah, right?
My guess here is that you have 2 enemy types, and cultists would be all the types of cultists in it.
It could be. So this is our first Plague Mariner. This would be a Death Guard, right? I think that's the chapter.
Yeah, Death Guard are who you're up against.
Yeah. And they are a bit beefy at 13 health. They have 3 armor. Armor regenerates each time. They have a standard bolter identical to ours, but their melee attack does less damage, but it inflicts Disrupted, which means that if these guys are in melee with you, like you end your turn with them, and they're still alive, on their turn they're going to knife you and disrupt you, which means you're not going to get your auto attack when they disengage. It will prevent you from taking attacks of opportunity. But my Vindicare here is a great early game clutch utility, because Plague Marines require having a gun arm to use a bolter, and if you shoot their arm off, then they're just stuck with that stupid little 2 damage knife. And now he doesn't have an arm.
If you remove the enemy's arm, he cannot use his weapon.
Yeah.
I am here to serve.
So that is precision targeting. You can get that on...
Moving now.
I think Purgators do it.
Yes, Astral Aim.
Yeah, Astral Aim.
Yeah.
And that lets you do the normal melee pick your crit on ranged crits,
This one will fall.
which is quite good. The Vindicare gets the, much like Hammerhand, which I don't think you have on anybody yet, 100% crit chance, which is usually a guaranteed crit.
Yep.
And yeah, that Plague Marine is substantially less threatening.
Not only can the Vindicare do that, they get precision targeting on any crit they land, which is, now about a 15-25% chance on a regular shot right now. But if you can start boosting that up, even regular shots will do that.
It is quite nice.
So if you get a Vindicare out there with a 50% crit chance, which we can do later, then they just become absolute terrors. They will just be shooting off limbs everywhere.
There was some talk in the thread about how, early engagement, you tend to shoot and enemies are long range and in cover. Statues give no fucks about either of those things.
Yeah, right?
There's a statue in range, that's, 4 or 5 damage to a line. It's almost always a good use of your AP to drop a statue at distance.
Yeah. I was hopeful I was going to hit more than one, but they weren't quite within range of this cultist and this marine. The other important thing, though, about dropping that statue is that it somehow broke the wall behind it.
I am his will.
That's going to be important.
Get out of there!
I suspect that somebody is going to be coming through that wall now.
Well, there is that one little cultist over there, yes.
More possibly vision.
Yes, that is the big pitfall of destroying that wall.
Die! Die! Die!
I don't remember where the other pods that we saw were, but since you pointed it out, I can tell that's exactly what's going to happen. If you actually see it in the pod.
I am a master of foreshadowing. Yeah, that pod right there.
That pod right there.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting to see exactly when the moment is going to happen.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure you're going to run forward for a melee attack somewhere, and that's going to be when you reveal it.
Yeah, that's a good bet.
Target.
I don't have an interceptor, so I don't have anyone that's going to teleport and melee these guys to get rid of Overwatch. My Justicar doesn't have the charge skill, which I hope to show off soon. But the Vindicare also has Disrupt Shot, which prevents him from landing a crit, which is bad. But it will get rid of Overwatch.
In my sights.
Then I realized I'm just going to shoot him twice and kill him.
I mean, it's a perfectly good way to deal with the situation.
Fire.
More than that, kill shots with his pistol have, I think at the moment, a 50% chance of refunding an AP.
Praise the Emperor.
Didn't hit that.
Armed and ready.
In the future.
Yeah.
We bring death.
I just remembered that this is a different Purgator than the previous one, because the previous one I think was injured. So this one doesn't have the skills that give him more ammo. So he's very quickly out of side cannon ammo.
Yeah, that is one of the problems that you have with almost all of the Purgator
Awaiting
weapons.
directions.
In fact, I'm just going to stop hedging. It's a problem with all the Purgator weapons. It's a problem with weapons in general. Oh, here you go.
Yep.
Pod's going to be revealed right now.
We are discovered.
This is less than ideal. As
Very less than ideal.
second video. Normally when you clear enemies, you get refunded all of your AP. Now a pod's been revealed, where most of your AP is already spent.
Sure is.
And you're not really in a good situation to, reposition.
I
do
am
much of
not.
anything.
Yeah. So had that pod not activated, the plan was that the Apothecary was going to go in there and get that one hit in, and then the Justicar is going to follow it up. Plans have changed. And now I'm thinking, okay, I can work with this. I could hit all three of these guys with the grenade. But remember, the grenade has kickback 3, so I might be able to push them out of range, where even if they are in range, they'll be out of cover, and I don't like to do that, so that I might be able to spare my Apothecary a retaliatory attack or two from those guys that I just pushed back. I was also considering flanking around, since these guys are way in the back, but Vindicare only has 1 AP.
He is out in the open, but far enough that he shouldn't be. Yeah, nobody's going to shoot at him.
Yeah, you'd think that, wouldn't you? Watch this.
Gods, watch over me. Die! Die! Die!
Oh no, I mean shooting the apothecary is one thing.
Oh,
Who's going to shoot the vindicare?
yeah, okay, yeah, you're right. But how did that guy shoot my apothecary? He just shot him through that giant, like, plinth of 2x2 full cover. Like, if Guava was here, I would pull back the old slow-mo bullshit cam.
I'm trying to judge it. He might not have been shooting directly through the plinth, but...
Oh, he was absolutely shooting directly through it. The tracer rounds were even going through it. Complete bullshit.
Han.
But it's okay. You get shot. You have an apothecary. You have ways of dealing with it.
Yeah.
The problem is that I'm still kind of not ideally situated. 2 of my units are up front. 2 of them are probably a full turn behind and need to reload before they're in use. And the enemies are all in pretty good cover.
Still thinking about that flank.
I still am. I mean, he just reloaded. He's not going to get a shot off this turn. If he goes, 2 movement to the Justicar, I'm still on the wrong side of the wall. I'm trying to find where I can sit the Vindicare and still see the Plague Marine.
Oh, I see. I thought you were trying to get a shot off on the Seed Carrier, who is suppressing...
That is also a good option. I think that's actually what I might be doing here. You
And
weren't
also
available
you get the
yesterday. I've already
guaranteed
forgotten
crit.
what I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crippling shot. Gotta shoot the seed right out of him.
I love that this is some... Oh, it's not on disable ranged weapon, though. But we need the seed. Somehow seed is successfully removed. Via bullet. And that actually did disrupt him? I shouldn't have. I'm actually not sure why I did that.
Well, I don't think that you stunned him.
No.
It's not Overwatch. He was using suppressing
true.
fire.
Yeah.
Suppressing fire might just be disrupted if anybody shoots.
I'm gonna have to test that. I'm actually really not sure on that one.
We're discovering stuff as we go along.
Yeah. Ah,
Ready
man.
to serve.
I remember my last LP when I discovered stuff as I went along. It was Outer Wilds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's always a great experience.
Yeah. Except for a Dark Bramble.
At once.
Even that Dark Bramble was like a small fraction of the overall experience, and it was still entertaining, just maybe less so for you and more for people watching you.
I didn't have a great place to put the Vindicare, and I just didn't want the Chaos Marine moving forward using that dumb plinth as cover and then shooting him in the open or something.
Yeah.
But the Assassins are a lot more fragile than your Marines because naturally they're A, not Marines, and B, not in power armor.
I forget exactly what the Assassins are. At least one of them is something sort of like power armor.
Really?
The Eversor.
Ah.
But it may not even be power armor. It may just be he's juiced.
Oh, he's very juiced. This isn't a great shot. It didn't even get through armor. But he came with the ability that makes his Psybolts do bleed. So I figured it'd be fun to try that out. Just see it in action a little bit.
I mean, it's gonna provide some value.
Yep. Armor doesn't stop bleed. Can I say again? I love the voice acting on the cultists. It's great.
They had a really good time doing it.
Yeah.
Die.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is what I was worried about. That plinth is because of the enemies being close enough to walk around. No matter which side you took cover on, somebody was going to be able to shoot you.
Yeah.
You've got one more turn before you have a bloom event.
I am here to serve.
This is one of the rare cases where I get to melee and be in cover. Typically, you know, they're on the corner of cover, so if you melee them, you're not in cover. I really miss being able to melee on diagonals.
Hey.
Yeah. Comedy bleed option. The stun option, I don't think this is necessary. I would have gone for the disable ranged weapon. But this guy's going to be dead this turn. Probably one way or another. And I'm thinking, I really want to show off the execution mechanic. How do I get 3 stun on him in just 9 HP?
I guess the Narthesium is the way to do that.
Well, no, the answer is lucky crits.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm just really happy it worked out, and I get to show off actual executions.
Yeah. Stunned is not a guaranteed crit. It is a 100% crit chance. It is occasionally a slight distinction.
Get up! Get up!
Everybody gets +1 AP, and you may
Gotcha.
notice that,
Purgator has 4.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying to remember what his name was. I couldn't-
Oh, I can't remember the names of... I'm going to call them all by their class type throughout the series.
The important thing is that you do not have to micromanage to make sure everybody has spent 1 AP before you refresh it.
Yes. There's also no upper cap as far as I've ever reached.
On the hunt.
Not that there's a lot of opportunity to gain AP above and beyond your starting value, but
You're generally limited by the number of units that you can execute.
yeah.
Entering stealth.
Now I'm just gonna have to set up an execute chain and then quicksilver somebody and see if I can get it to like 8 or something.
Well, I can't remember, you may remember the answer to this, but when combat ends, doesn't everybody's AP get set to 3?
Yes.
Yeah. So there's very limited reason, like the point of an execute chain or infinite AP is that it ends the combat, not that you could store up AP for future combats. So it's self-regulating in that regard.
Yeah, we can't somehow like bank AP for the next engagement. Although, no, you're right. That because it sets it to 3, which
I am
is
an instrument
important.
of
The turn
vengeance.
doesn't end.
I am death.
Yeah, refund.
Yeah. And I remembered, oh, I hadn't shown this off. Yeah, there it is. There's the ability that if you get the kill with the pistol, you can get AP back.
Once per turn.
Yes.
Weapon
They
loaded.
did a little bit of work to try and prevent any sort of like infinite turn shenanigans.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Every ability that has like automatic uses like that, like refunding AP or doing something cool, is typically once per turn, and some classes can get, I think it's enduring reflexes, which allows you to use those abilities twice a turn.
Which can be nice.
Another battle ends in triumph.
Right.
Oftentimes, for some types of abilities like, first strike or parry, it's rare that being able to do it more than once per turn matters.
Parry is actually one of those ones I think that does.
I mean, you can, but ideally you don't want
Listening.
to have the enemy running towards you and meleeing with multiple people.
Right. There are some
At your
Nurgle demons
command.
we'll see that have 2 melee weapons.
Aye, sir.
So if they start within 5, they can move, then slash, and then slash with the other hand.
Yeah.
And that sucks.
Yeah, no, I imagine that it does.
Moving swiftly.
Stupid unexploded ordnance.
It's classic asymmetry, which I do appreciate. Enemies' grenades do not go off right away. Your grenades do go off right away.
Remember the days of original XCOM where that wasn't the case?
I don't remember if the AI ever did timed grenades in original XCOM.
We are close.
No, I
We
mean,
will find them,
your
Commander.
grenades didn't go off right away in original XCOM.
Well, yeah,
Yeah. Oh, it was terrible.
I mean, I remember you could set grenade delays for multiple turns, and
Yeah.
I got some use out of that with high explosives.
Nice.
But that was the XCOM util, where high explosives could breach you with
Ready
the
to
walls.
kill.
Oh, yeah.
Praise the Emperor.
That was essentially easy mode.
Confirm.
All you Open XCOM enjoyers can thank me personally for making Soup Super add instant grenades.
Lapdogs of the false emperor.
So here we go, an actual real, like, threat. I don't know my 40k lore, and I feel like how it's been discussed, I should know the answer to this, but I feel like a 4-on-3 fight, Grey Knights versus Plague Marines, or even just like a 1-on-1 fight, a Grey Knight would be expected to absolutely destroy a Death Guard, right?
Precision target.
I mean, yes, but one other thing about Chaos Marines is that most of them have been alive for 10,000 years. Or at least a lot of them have been around, because the Chaos Marine faction split during the Horus Heresy, which was 10,000 years
Locked
prior to
on.
the 41st millennium.
Okay.
And
not
they do
getting
do
more.
some recruitment,
Okay.
but by and large, they
Reloaded.
have even harder time making new Marines because their gene seed is all fucked up and chaos corrupted.
Right.
So the normal way that they make new Marines is either by corrupting an existing Marine, which is hard. Space Marines don't really fall to chaos corruption. Half of them falling to chaos corruption aside.
For the Emperor!
That was sort of a special case.
Yeah!
And then they steal gene seed whenever possible. Pure
Reload
gene seed that they can actually use to make a Marine, but like corrupted and fucked up. And then there's just, of course, all of the original sets of Marines. If these are one of the original, like, Death Guard chapter, they definitely have a better than 50% chance of actually being, like, 10,000 years old. If they're still Marines and not, like, you know, Ascended Champion, they're probably some variety of fuck-up. But they're a fuck-up with 10,000 years of experience behind them.
Alright. Quick diversion. So these are little bloom pods, or seed pods, or whatever. All that is a little node that you can hit to gain a seed and 1 willpower back. And the more corrupted a planet you're doing the mission in, the more likely you are to see those, or the more of them you will see.
Yeah, it's a way for you to be able to acquire seeds without having to get a crit on an enemy.
Yeah. But okay, so thank you for the lore issue. You didn't really answer my question though, so let me redirect here. One-on-one, a
4v3,
Death Guard. Well, okay. Well, how about like one-on-one or even numbers?
One-on-one, you would expect the Grey Knights to win,
Okay.
but it wouldn't be like a trivial matter. The Grey Knight should win, but there is a chance that the Grey Knight would fuck up. Because it's still a Marine, it's a Chaos Marine, probably has a whole bunch of experience. He might even have some old, you know, ancient technology from back when they could actually make the shit and make it work. But there has been new technological developments that, like, Chaos Marines don't have assault cannons. Assault cannons are probably the best gun in the Space Marine roster.
Oh, I remember those. Those are the Terminator-mounted Gatling cannons, right?
Yeah, they stole the
Yeah.
technology from Tyranids.
What?
Yeah.
But Tyranids are all buggy and biological.
Yeah, but Tyranids came up with rending, and then suddenly new Space Marine and other, you know, people with weapons came out that also had rending.
Firing now!
For the tabletop rule.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the original rending rule was basically a thing that, like, Gene Stealers and some other Tyranids had, where if their to hit roll was a 6,
Awaiting
it just became a
directions.
wound and was treated as a power weapon.
Oh, I
Which is-
remember that. Yeah.
yeah.
I thought that
It was
like
really good.
Diamond Claws or something.
Rending Claws was just what it was called.
All right.
It was how Gene Stealers could actually credibly, like, murder Terminators. And then everybody else got rending, and it turns out that when you can shoot people with rending, it's way better than if you have to get into melee with them.
I am here to serve.
Like, you can be very scary in melee, and it doesn't matter if only like 3 of your 15 Gene Stealers survive to get into contact.
Right. Back here to this. I hit Aegis Shield and then just ran through that Overwatch because Terminator plus Justicar just meant like extra armor and don't care.
Yes, Commander.
Everybody else was in the Overwatch cone, so somebody was going to have to draw that Overwatch.
I'm really excited for this grenade.
Right? It's a nice hell pit you guys seem to be right next to. You can see I'm counting out the spaces. So, by my estimation, by counting that out, the back one is dead, but the other one's going to live. And there you go.
Perfect count.
Yep. 3 squares. Now, this is something I'm really proud of. Crowd surf!
This is why you ask, it's like, man, I wish I could just do the Purgator charge on
As
everybody.
you will.
Yeah.
Because if they're 1 square away and you're in melee range to do a Purgator charge, they are dead. If you
Yeah,
want
it's
them
true.
to be.
Pleasure. It bleeds.
Sometimes you just want to tackle a guy off the
Standing
ledge.
by for more targets.
Ready to serve.
Always crowd surf. Every opportunity. It's
Yeah,
always
yeah.
worth it.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Man, I want to play some Blood Bowl again. My dreams of my stand firm, grab dwarf lineman, and then
Your
a stand
orders?
firm troll slayer. Just shove people off. They thought they were safe. They weren't.
Give me a target. On the hunt.
I feel like going diving tackle was always, especially if you have to take
so
doubles for it. Everybody always forgets that you have diving tackle.
Oh my god, that one roster that had like 3 or 4 diving tackle dwarf linemen was obscene. Fucking elves flopping everywhere because they're like, oh, I'm gonna like 2+ everywhere. What do you mean it's a 4+ everywhere? Oh, this is terrible.
The best part was that in earlier editions, unless you specifically checked for it, it wouldn't even tell you because they had to use diving tackle to change it.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah,
So they would just think, oh, this is just a normal, a 3+ dodge into a tackle zone. It's fine. It's like, nope. Do you want to use diving tackle? Bam. 5+1.
Weapons ready.
yeah, no, so good.
As you will.
And being it on some dwarves that had normal access to stand firm, nothing worse than a diving tackle stand firm dwarf standing next to your like strength 2 or 3 ball carrier who you thought was going to escape.
Well, there is one thing worse, but you can't do it on dwarves.
What's that?
Prehensile tail.
Oh yeah, right.
The target survives.
I miss fumble a little bit because like it's one of those things where the admittedly extremely basic fumble interface fails compared to the was superior to the modern one for simplicity. You could just click on a player and make a note, and then you could see, okay, this is the one that has diving tackle.
Yep. I still preferred like the modern UIs just because my matches, especially when I was getting a dwarf team up, it's just everybody had to have like G written under them for guard or something.
Right. We got a little bit distracted, but also it's just so another pod showed up again. This is
the last seed carrier pod.
yeah, it's the last seed carrier pod. It's less problematic just because there's no death guard in here, and the mission is over after this.
After 2 turns.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's going to be relatively true. You're not at any real risk here. You just have, like, even if you let them beat up, like, you would have to leave cover, run closer to them, give them an easy target, and then you might have a wounded Marine put into critical status. Maybe.
We shall not
I'm trying to think. Let's see. There's only, I think, unless one of those is a heavy stubber, there's only 9 potential damage output on their team right now. Unless I stand still on the time bomb from the Grenadier.
I was going to say, there's 4 of them. I would expect them to be able to do at least 3 damage apiece.
Yeah, but the Grenadier never does damage.
Oh.
Because he can either shoot the,
Oh, you can do the frag
The
grenade
egg.
or the pinning grenade.
yeah.
Yeah. That's right.
There's no reason to ever take damage from the Grenadier, but also at the same time, if they have a bunch of buddies around, they're just giant assholes. because they'll do the pin grenade and cost you AP or flush you out of cover.
Like that. The best part is when they do that and then also somebody overwatches or suppresses you.
Come at me now.
Like that.
Yeah. Now, I don't think that Overwatch is actually a threat to the Justicar. He's behind cover, and it doesn't look like the Overwatch cone reaches. This game has a bit of an issue with Overwatch cones and Z levels. Like that guy. He is overwatching a wall. Now, in tabletop or how we might expect, like, yeah, that cone should extend to that floor up, a Z level. Like, he can see up there. But Overwatch cones in this come out as completely flat planes.
I mean, it's interesting that you mentioned that, because Overwatch was not a mechanic when I played 40k.
Yeah, I'm probably thinking...
I must rearm.
I don't think Overwatch was a mechanic in...
It probably was a mechanic in earlier editions. At some point it was dropped. I know it came back to some extent later on. But, I mean, I have not even looked at a rulebook in probably a decade.
No, don't give up now.
Unleash me.
So yeah, this is a little bit of a wrap-up. There's not a whole lot to talk about tactically here. The basic concepts, still apply. Don't take damage unnecessarily. If you do, it probably doesn't matter anyways.
Right. Although you now have inspired me for a new chapter of Space Marines, the MXC chapter.
To get eliminated.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure somebody has done it. So I'm just waiting for somebody to run forward to melee that guy and accidentally trigger the Overwatch, because it doesn't look like he's overwatching anything. Yeah, Overwatch being a two-dimensional representation is very simplified on this game. But yeah, it should be a cone. It should extend further up. It's sort of a problem that it doesn't.
Well done, my brothers. However, the Plague God's minions converge on your location. Hold your ground until the Dominus can teleport you from the surface.
Yeah, don't worry, Ektar. We're not in a rush here.
It's kind of interesting. Yeah, okay, I was wondering how it would interact with you killing the last guy on the enemy turn.
Yeah, it just kind of skips my turn. I don't think this worked out very well in my favor, actually.
No, it worked out the worst in your favor.
Oh, but hey, I'm thinking about it.
At your
I
command.
think we have some science. Now, you said on the pre-mission thing, like, there's two types. It's going to be cultists and Death Guard. Well, haha, Poxwalkers.
Well, these
they
came in
came
as
through
reinforcements, yeah.
Right, so maybe that information is pods only, and reinforcements are a little bit more leeway.
It's possible. I'll have to keep an eye on it in the future missions. Because, yeah, in the existing pods, there were only really two enemy types. Your Death Guard and your cultists.
Yeah.
It is less useful if it doesn't tell you anything that show up as reinforcements.
Need more rounds.
But also, like, within the Poxwalkers, I'm pretty sure Poxwalkers as a group comprises, multiple enemy types as well.
Yeah. The regulars and the big bloaties.
Yep.
Yeah.
Also, it's really kind of tempting to look at this and say, like, you could have just spent all 3 AP running away.
Yeah.
But why would you do that when there's experience to be gained?
Exactly. Yeah, you're right. I hadn't thought about it at the time, but presumably the rest of the map is clean, since I took a pretty thorough approach through it. And both of these guys appeared roughly on the same side of my forces, and they're melee only, so I spend 3 AP moving away from them, they spend 3 AP moving towards me. They just never catch me until I get teleported out.
Vindicare at your disposal. Taking position.
This is something that I appreciate about when games do it. In triangle strategy, how it'll tell you if space is within reach of an enemy attack.
Oh, yeah. That is nice.
It would be entirely too overwhelming, and because of the nature of ranged attacks in this game, it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. But it, for games where it's important, I appreciate it when they actually give you that information just straight up.
Yep.
Not all games do. They'll give you all of the pieces that you need to acquire that information, but they make you jump through those hoops.
Yeah. Importantly, I have just shot that Bloaty Boy's head and disabled his pestilent explosion, which is probably the reason I hate the Bloaty Boys the most of the Poxwalkers and things.
Vindicare at your
Because if they
disposal.
get killed, they explode, and then they enrage plague Marines
Target
and
destroyed.
give health to other Poxwalkers. And it's really, really annoying. Plague is effectively like a 2 HP a turn poison that lasts for 2 or 3 turns.
Yeah, it's the way bleed used to work.
In my sights.
Right.
Ammunition depleted.
Also, if you get them to low health but don't kill them, they get enraged, which means that the Bloaty Boy here is now coming for the Vindicare. But he would have, yes. So there is kind of like a taunt or an enrage system, and in fact, Justicars can get it to try to force enemies to attack a specific unit.
Really a scratch. Less than nothing.
So these guys absolutely should not be able to actually damage you by just punching them with their fists,
Right.
even with extra demonic strength. We talked a little bit about Space Marine armor. Like, it doesn't make sense that you get caught on fire or take damage from walking over just regular open fire. But power armor, definitely proof against just dudes punching you.
Would really hope so. The other one actually made it to me, and Plague 2
Ready to kill.
which is really annoying mid-mission, because the status effect cleansing ability, Purify, is not by default on your Apothecary's Northesium, so you don't have a whole lot of Purify
Your life
options
belongs to
early
the
game.
Vindicare.
The one we do have right now is the Healing Skull,
Your
which
command.
I'm going to use. But we only have one charge of a mission at this moment. So, there we go. Skull spent. If this was mid-mission, that would kind of suck, because it means then Ruben is going to sit here and just take damage until the plague wears off.
Yeah, but he's only going to take 4 damage. You could heal through it if you had to.
Armed and ready.
Well, he's only going to take 4 more. I think he's already taken 2. Yeah. And that is basically what I have to do, is just kind of heal through Plague most of the time, until we can either skill an Apothecary up, or get some sort of method. One of the pieces, or one of the upgrades on power armor is just immunity to Plague. Just straight immune.
Empty.
It's great.
Unlike the other status effects, Plague is frequent enough to be just annoying.
My blade
Yep.
is used. Amateur. Death is our creed.
Time to sneak out. Oh. For a second, I thought you were going to try and sneak in a kill on the Apothecary.
I still might. I'm healing, I think, out of habit, and then not realizing this is the last turn. I'm gonna kill them all. I don't think I can... if I shot him with a vulture, it wouldn't be a kill, but... Turn it into 1 hit. Because Boris has Great Destiny for extra melee damage. And then everything reset. Everybody reloaded and has got 3 AP, and I'm like... I killed everything. All the reinforcements are gone.
Yeah,
Seed
but it's the
carriers
same
are done.
turn, so
Yeah,
you still have to
yeah,
end
yeah.
turn to hold for extraction.
Yep, I sure do. And then I looked around the map just to make sure there wasn't another, like, seed pod somehow within 15 squares of me.
All active assassins recovered. Beginning teleportation.
I keep extracting on the turn of a warp surge.
Curse of the Bloom.
Speaking of curses, Windows cursor. Do you see it for that quarter of a second right there?
Oh, yeah.
Every time. Gets me every time.
I don't even notice it.
And I'm going to go back to my YouTube analytics and see how many people rewinded to watch that one particular segment of my video.
There we go. Glorious Deed. Only +1. Unfortunately, later on, when you get better mastercrafted weapons, you stop wanting to take that deed.
Yeah.
Hey, another apothecary.
Yep. I'm definitely going to take the apothecary. I'm looking at this sword. I'm like, I like it. It does 5 damage. That is more than normal. And it can be upgraded, but it doesn't cause stun. And I'm really thinking, do I care? With the changes of how stun has worked on enemies and with the more amount of stun it takes, especially on higher difficulty levels, I think if I wasn't trying to save as much requisition as I could for recruiting and unlocking better armory access, I probably would have taken that sword.
It's a good sword, especially on a game. 5 damage, as you just illustrated, being able to kill somebody in one melee hit, like the guy from the thread was talking about with the demon hammers. AP to kill a guy with 1 AP instead of 2 AP is huge.
Yeah.
Later on, it may fall off a little bit, but damage numbers never get much better than that.
Yeah.
Except in specific circumstances.
Yeah, like we're probably gonna top out somewhere around like 7 on a non-crit hit.
Yeah, and that only on specific weapons. 5 or 6 is more normal for like the non-specialists.
Oh, so here's the thing. We like to joke that one of the best upgrades in the game is pockets.
Pockets is one of the best upgrades in the game. It's not a joke. Totally serious
really is.
about it.
Yeah. I think I'm going to go into the armory and make use of those pockets and show off. So hooray, we have a second apothecary, which is good, because half of my roster is injured. This is a servo skull slot specific pocket, but that's fine. He's an apothecary. He's always going to be carrying some sort of servo skull. So right now, when our options are limited and we don't have a whole lot of war gear, like being able to carry a frag grenade and a servo skull, underwhelming, but I mean, it's another grenade I can bring to combat right now. When we get more and better war gear, having a second slot becomes incredibly powerful if you have the right stuff. Such as, from range or melee, there is a war gear slot that will increase your crit chance and your crit damage for either range or melee. So you get an interceptor or something and you put range crit chance, melee crit chance and melee damage on them, and you can start getting lots and lots of extra damage from them. And same with Purgators and the ranged equivalents.
Yeah. Pockets are great.
Oh, this apothecary, I forgot. Oh, God. Hooray! Emperor's Judgment. Hobble.
The other sort of mediocre apothecary choice.
Yeah. Now, you can get the upgrade to spend even more willpower to turn it into Immobilize, which, okay.
Even still...
Yeah.
You always want other things first.
Yes.
Apothecaries suffer from the fact that they are so... I hate to keep using the term generically useful. Because you can absolutely do without apothecaries. But you're going to take damage. It's unavoidable. Bringing the guy who allows you to recover from that damage mid-mission is great.
Yep.
I don't know that it's worth bringing multiple apothecaries. In fact, I'm going to say it's not worth bringing multiple apothecaries. But you always want one.
Yeah. That's going to be it for this mission. Sadly, we are out of range of those 2 other missions, so we're going to have to just sit here and start fixing up the ship, and we'll see you guys in the next video.
Bye.
Bye. Now get back in the freezer.
Okay.